So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, thou shalt hear the word of my mouth, and warn them from me.
Have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Middle Tennessee and examining current events from a biblical perspective, this is Bible News Radio with your hosts, Randall and Stacy Harp.
Hello, people. Welcome to Bible News Radio. Today, I am your sweet and lovable host. Yeah, I am.
At other times?
I know, other times I am. All right, so here's what we're going to do, people. People of Bible News Radio. Anyway, I'm waiting for Periscope to load, just so you know. So I can't say hi to any of you until it does that. But if you are there, and I know a couple of you are, hi. Don't be offended if I don't say your name today. And if you're on Facebook, I want to welcome you to the show as well, over on the Book of Faces. Hey, that's what we should call it from now on. The Book of Faces. Are you on the Book of Faces? have you put your approval on there for them to take all your private information? Yeah, you have. Just admit it. You know you have. You've been suckered into Facebook. That's all right. Bygones. We love Facebook. And my nose is itchy. It's been itchy for the last hour. All right, I'm going to share this out on Facebook. And I'm going to put in a little caption. Have you been touched by cancer? Have you been touched by cancer? Is that the name of the show? I forgot.
It's reducing your cancer risk.
Reducing your cancer risk. Hold on a second. Hey, just so you know, this is
amazing.
Amazing.
Did I read your mind or what?
No, actually you didn't. I was actually thinking of something completely different, but that's beside the point. Oh my gosh, Mork21 just came into Periscope. Mork, you're here. You're back from Mork. I'm so glad.
Nanu.
You must be pretty old if that's your name. And I mean old in a good way, not in a bad way. I guess old's all relative. Okay, so let's see who else I can see here. Mia's there. Hi, Mia. And Melanie is there. Hi, Melanie. Natasha's... Did I say that right? Natasha is there. And some other people are coming in too. I don't know who they are though. But you know what? That's okay. Jane and Joe are here. Thank you and good night. No, just kidding. Actually, some of you are listening to the podcast, and I happen to know you actually listen to me at night, and I put you to sleep. And I really just want to say appreciate it that you have emailed me to let me know that. Thank you very much. The rest of you, I appreciate you listening to me while you're awake. That's more polite, don't you think? No. No, I'm just kidding. Did you want to say something, Randall? No?
Yes? Hearts matter on the replay too.
There. I did. I said Natasha right. I don't know what it is. I think it's your spelling and how you spell it, because I just... You know, it's like certain words, as you know, if you watch me all the time, I screw up a word every episode. I seriously thought about buying the pro version of dictionary.com, the mobile app, so that it would pronounce stuff for me, because I have this thing in my head that sometimes it messes stuff up, and I don't know. I have no idea why it does it. It just happens. So... Natasha, I will remember that.
You can't say things and I can't spell things. I can't type, so we make a wonderful pair.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. You're handsome.
Why? Thank you.
Yeah, you are. Today you're not the guest though, so get off the screen. Okay, so here's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about reducing your cancer risk, right? With Jody Summers, who is a superstar rock star person in the whole entire universe. Okay, just so you know, it is amazing to me. That's what it is. It's the spelling. Anyway, it's amazing to me the people that I get to meet on Bible News Radio because there's so many cool people. Do you know how many cool people exist in the world? Quite a few. And most of them come on our show because they're super cool. And Jody is one of those people. She's actually been, doing like, well, I'm not going to tell you her background. Wait, hold on. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to read something. See if I can read it correctly. This just in, people. I've always wanted to do that, like Walter Cronkite, you know.
This just in.
This just in. Breaking news. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so Jody Summers is my guest. She is a dietetics, food science, and healthcare nutritional therapy practitioner. Yeah, I think I said it kind of sort of right. It was a long title. But she is super smart, in other words. And she's got a great story. And you know what? We have had numerous other people on the show to talk about super important things like health. Because guess what, everybody? Health is wealth. Right? It is. And the older you get, which is all of you, you're older than you were yesterday. Just so you know. The more you're going to realize that, right? And so, you know, a lot of us like lost moms and dads to cancer. Like me, I lost my mom to cancer when she's 57 years old, which is super young, especially if you're close to my age right now. And some of you are older than 57, so you're super old. I mean, you're older than my mom actually lived. And, you know, it's an issue. You know, health is an issue. And the question I have is, what exactly are we being told in the media, and is it the truth? Right? Why is there so many pharmaceutical companies out there trying to tell you to take certain things when there's natural alternatives to it? You know, I'll give you a perfect example. I was told like 6 years ago, give or take, maybe it was longer than that I have arthritis in my wrist, right? And then I have, what do you call it? Carpal tunnel, okay? Because I type a lot, I play sports, you know, I got all this stuff in my arm. And the doctor told me to take meloxicam, which is an anti-inflammatory drug. Never gave me an option for a natural alternative to that drug, right? How many of you can relate to this, right? Anyway, long story short, I come here to Tennessee because that was in California, the evil state. Just kidding. Jody lives there, so it's not always evil. But anyway, I came here. And my doctor is half homeopath, half regular medical. And I asked him one day, I said, hey, do you have a natural alternative to meloxicam? Because this stuff, you know, I read the warning, what it could do to me. It could hurt me in lots of ways. And he's like, yeah, take turmeric. I'm like, what's that? And so he told me what turmeric was. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I said, well, how do I go off? And he's like, just stop the meloxicam, take turmeric, you'll be fine. And literally, this is my testimony, literally within a week, 1 week, taking a very low dose of turmeric, by the way, which I should say is an Indian spice, in case you need to know. Within 1 week, I had a lot less pain and inflammation than I did on meloxicam. And it was on a low dose of a natural thing that God made and all that. So anyway, Jody knows all about this stuff. So Jody, come on the screen. And welcome to the show. Thanks for sitting there for that whole time. I really appreciate it. But I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that my audience is finally going to get to meet you. So welcome.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, it's my pleasure because you're super cool.
I don't know about that, but I appreciate you thinking that.
Okay. All right. So did I get your background slightly correct?
It sounded like a very long name, but yes, slightly correct. So, I'll kind of summarize it or put it into perspective. So my bachelor's degree is in dietetics and food science, and I have a master's in healthcare. And that was traditional, you know, Cal State University training, kind of mainstream. And then I also have a certified nutritional therapy practitioner certification. So the way I describe what I do is help bridge that gap between mainstream medical and a holistic approach.
Yes.
So,
yeah, that's very cool. So there's people here already saying comments. Wait, let me see what it says. Cam on the Bayou says, I don't want to reduce my risk of cancer. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. There you go. Hey, enjoy your time. And Diane says turmeric should be taken with pepper, and that's actually accurate. You should take it with black pepper because that helps the absorption of it, and they sell it that way, right?
Yeah, and with fat if you can.
Did you say with fat? I did not know that. Really? Sorry.
And again, if you think of how turmeric was, back, you use it in cooking, it's almost always in fat because fat brings out the flavor of the turmeric. It actually helps it absorb as well.
Oh.
So sometimes you'll find supplements that are turmeric they're in a fat soluble gel, and then they have the black pepper inside.
Yeah. Well, that's the one that I use. I use the one with the black pepper because that's what I was told. I generally do what I was told. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it maybe. But okay, so tell us a little bit about your background. Like, how did you get to the place where you were? I know that for a long time you were with doing direct sales, right, with other companies and stuff. You want to talk about that and then how you got to where you're at?
Yeah. So my degree, my bachelor's degree, when I was actually, it even goes back farther than that. You're going to laugh. I'm actually a high school dropout. I dropped out at 16. So I had a bad home life, whatever you want to say. And then I went right to community college. Then I went to Cal State Long Beach, and I got my bachelor's in dietetics. And I literally, when I had in between there, I got married and I had my first baby. And when I graduated on December 20th or whatever it was, she was born January 5th. So at the end of my schooling, I was extremely pregnant. And I actually stayed home with her when she was young, didn't go into the workforce, went into a direct sales, which was a photography, scrapbooking type thing, and did that for many, many years. Had 3 children. That baby was a little girl, then I had a son and another daughter. And as they grew up, my son actually got really sick when he was 12, diagnosed with Crohn's disease. And I was doing what I was taught in school. Mainstream, exactly, the low-fat diet, everything that I was taught, I was giving to my children. Well, come to find out, a lot of what I was taught was either wrong or has been upgraded since it. But I mean, it was just wrong, and it was certainly wrong for my children. And so, as I was helping him kind of work through this, I would ask his doctor, well, what about food? Crohn's disease is all about food. It's inflammation of the gut, and again, turmeric is a good choice, lots of good choices. And even his specialist in San Francisco, who was top of the line children's, oh no, food doesn't have anything to do with it. And I knew that was wrong. And I heard you say, Stacy, that your mom also passed away of cancer. My mom died of cancer as well. And it was around that exact same time. And she would go and her doctor would say, it doesn't matter what you eat. And I was hearing it doesn't matter what you eat. And it was like, I just knew that was wrong, even though that's exactly what I was taught in mainstream. So as I did a lot of and that was about 10 years ago, and I really started to research about food and nutrients and how the body heals, how it repairs. And that's when my son is doing extremely well. He's very good on what he eats and what he doesn't eat. And since then, my mother has passed away. And really anything I had to say, she was very much whatever the doctor told her to do. And so I respected that, but, I knew better. And so then when I wanted to get back into kind of working my children were grown and gone, and I wanted to get back and helping people, I went back to the Nutritional Therapy Association, which is a whole food, nutrient dense, properly prepared, how you use food to really support the body to do what it does best, which is, heal when it can. So, and I'm not against there are many, many good things. If I'm in a car accident, please take me. If I break my leg, there's a lot of things that mainstream does well. Cancer recovery and prevention doesn't seem to be one of them.
Yeah. Well, I'm a little bit of a conspiracy buff. I was going to say, I'm not theorist, but I tend to think that the genetically modified foods and you know, all that stuff, we've been sold all of this stuff through the marketing of prepackaged food and stuff like that. And I think, well, like what you were saying, you know, you did the low fat thing, you did this, you did that, and all it did was get you sicker, right? So I get that. Yeah.
Well, and one of the, I had written down a few misconceptions today in preparation for this.
Okay.
And one of the misconceptions that we are said is, you know, our body needs calories to, you know, to run. Our body does not run on calories. Our body runs on nutrients. Nutrients contain calories, but you can get calories without nutrients, and the body heals itself through nutrients. You know, there are minerals and vitamins and macronutrients and micronutrients. And that's what heals the body, not calories. And you still don't hear that, you know, as long as you're getting enough calories. Well, you need nutrients that come with calories, but not calories with no nutrients. So that's just a complete misconception in, you know, so many areas.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense, actually. And, you know, it's so funny because the nutritional value of stuff is really lost on most marketing. Wouldn't you agree? Because they market it, like say bread. Like the other day I was in the store. It was actually yesterday. I was in the store and I was looking at loaves of bread that were in there. And just as an example, and by the way, I didn't buy any bread. Just so you know, I didn't do it. I didn't buy the bread. But Randall bought this bread like a couple of weeks ago, and it was really good. I mean, it had a lot of nuts and seeds in it, and it was dense, and I actually ate it, and it didn't bug me at all. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the best bread ever, because you know I'm not supposed to really be eating a lot of bread, but I ate this bread, and it didn't.
As most people shouldn't eat a lot of bread. I mean,
yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, but this bread didn't bug me. That's the point I'm trying to make. Anyway, and so I'm looking at all the different loaves of bread. You know, they're wrapped up in plastic, and they have all these different things on it, but it's not nutritional stuff that they're telling you. They're telling you different things, like it's, you know, low fat or whatever, and it's like it's not telling you what the nutritional thing is. So for me, what you just said is gold, because you know, if we run on nutrients, then it's like what kind of gas do you put in your car? If I put, you know, regular in my car wouldn't run, you know.
Okay, let's use this example of, remember I went to, you know, my mother's doctor and then my son's doctor. And actually I got into cancer recovery because at the exact same time that I was going through the nutritional therapy program, one of my dear friends found out she had stage 4 breast cancer, and I would go with her to her chemotherapy treatments, and she would ask me some questions, and anyway, doesn't matter. But her oncologist was saying the exact same thing. It doesn't matter what you eat, and eat anything you want. But if you had your car that was broken and you brought your car into the mechanic and he fixed whatever was broken, the radiator, and you said, you walked up to the mechanic and he's fixing the radiator or whatever, transmission, doesn't matter. And you said, you know what, I have a question about what kind of gas should I put in the car? Do you think he would say, oh, it doesn't matter what you can put in anything, you can put sugar water, you can put in diesel, whatever you want, just it doesn't matter. As long as it's full, it's good.
Yeah.
It doesn't even make common sense.
Right. Exactly. You're exactly right. See, that's why you're on the show, because you're an expert in this area. Okay. All right. So Randall, I'm having a problem with this. Can I use your phone to look on stuff and see if it's connecting or anything? Because I'm just having a hard time connecting with stuff. Do you guys in the chat?
Sure, I'll set you up.
Okay. Yeah, this iPhone does not like Periscope, I'm telling you. And I saw Denise was in too over on Facebook. So we'll say hi to Denise. Hi, Denise. You guys, you know Denise. Wait, are you actually on the screen now?
No.
You're not? Oh no, did I freeze?
No, you're good.
You sure? Did we lose Jody?
No, all is well.
Really? Because my thing's showing that everything is frozen on my end.
Well, we're good here.
All right, well.
Trust the AV guy. All is well.
Yep, Zoom just crashed on me. It looks like my internet dropped. But you guys can hear me, right?
Yep, and they can hear Jody too.
Oh, I can't hear
I
her
see.
though. Is she saying anything? Huh?
I
What?
can hear both of you.
Oh, okay. All right. So, okay. So you're talking about misconceptions. What are some other misconceptions that people have about reducing cancer and stuff? Like you shared with me right before the show about driving down the street.
Again, we were talking about cancer prevention, and I'm very careful in the words that you use. Even if somebody did 100% exactly the way it should be, so ate exactly right, got the right amount of sleep, lived in the most, the best place, and got out and had good probiotics and had lots of movement, you could do everything right and still get cancer, but you can reduce your risk. It's exactly the same as if you had the safest car with the top of the line safety features and you were the best driver and you were just driving down your street that was very safe, you still could have something go wrong. I mean, there's still a possibility that something could go wrong. So, there's no, a lot of people say, well, it makes you feel guilty when, there's a blame. There's no blame, but that doesn't mean we can't do things to reduce the risk. And I work with a lot of people who already have cancer, who are going through cancer treatment at the time, that they can do to mitigate side effects and recover stronger. So there are all of those things that you can do. And I think, Stacy, I may have lost you. So I'm just going to keep talking until I see you pop back up. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Oh, am I back? I had to reboot my internet. I'm still waiting for it to come up on
go
my.
On and on about the download, and it's got all of those things on it. But yeah, you're back.
No, go ahead. Keep doing it because I'm still not. I don't see myself yet. I'm still trying to relaunch Zoom, get myself in there. All right.
But there are many things. So like the first thing would be a whole food, nutrient dense diet. Literally real food. And I give the example oftentimes that real food actually provides energy. So, you can actually measure the energy of food like through a machine that actually can measure voltage. And real food, if you can measure like a lemon, it's full of energy, and you can really feel that after you eat a lemon. You feel full of life, just like after you've been in the sun, that actually provides life. Compared to, let's say, a can of tomatoes that has been heated so much that a lot of that life is gone. And again, not that tomatoes are bad, but you want to eat nutrient dense whole foods in as close to its original form as possible. Lots of vegetables, especially because again, they provide, all of those nutrients, good high quality protein. And especially if you're having protein or fat, you want to make sure it's organic, because in the fat is where a lot of the toxins are stored. And so if you have an animal that has been given just junk food and then you eat that, piece of meat with fat on it, that's where those toxins are stored. So you want to make sure that your meat specifically is grass-fed, pastured, or wild-caught fish that has been organically fed, so there's less toxins, because that is really, just today, I read an article about how flight attendants have much higher risk of cancers all around, and it is because they're exposed to so many more toxins. Jet fuel to all sorts of things. And all of those things add up in our body. And so, eating an organic meat and organic vegetables are going to reduce that toxic load.
Yeah. And I never used to buy that whole thing, but now I completely do. And it's because I've learned through the different research, like what you're saying, that, if you eat, like in the Old Testament, right? God gives us guidelines for what type of food to eat. Don't eat the from a hooved calf, that type of food, or certain fish, like the lobster, right? I think is like the garbage disposal of the ocean. And yet, hey, I'm going to eat some lobster with some butter on top of it. The butter's fine.
Butter's good.
Yeah, but the lobster, I don't like it anyway. I don't like fish, but the thing is is I never used to believe that until I started listening to people like you who know what they're talking about. And I was like, yeah. And you know what I actually noticed is that I started eating a lot less meat, and I don't eat a lot of meat now. Me and Randall used to eat meat almost every night for dinner because of the American diet. We used to, have meat and vegetables and a potato, or let's just say, or something.
Your grains and your pastured milk or whatever it
yeah.
was.
And I felt horrible.
Yeah.
I pretty much start like, I might eat meat once a week if I do, maybe twice tops. I mean, not really.
The meat, it is the whole thing. And I think sometimes we focus on one thing, and it isn't, and again, that's where my training, like in mainstream, we'd focus on one nutrient, or we'd focus on one food group, or we focus on one part of the body. Cancer is not a tumor, like breast cancer. If somebody has a tumor, the tumor is not the cancer. The tumor is a symptom of cancer. And the cancer is because the body's out of balance that allowed this to come to the surface. And so and this is one of the reasons why just removing a symptom doesn't necessarily do anything to the terrain that grew from. And so, yes, you want it removed. I'm not in any way saying don't go please do not misunderstand. It's not medical advice or anything. And, you need to go see your doctor, get that taken care of. But in addition to what seems to be missing, and I do think part of it is, as well trained as the mainstream doctor is, the medical doctor, by the average medical doctor in this country is required, unless they seek it out on their own, 25 hours of nutritional training.
That's it? Really?
Let me say that again. 25 hours. There is a book called Deep Nutrition that I just listened to again for the third time on Audible. It took 26 hours for her to read it to me. Okay, that is more time in a book that I just read than is required for by law. And I'm sure some get way more than that. Again, they just have to take those classes, but it's less than 1% of their training. Less than 1% of their hours in school is spent on nutrition. And so even though they're very good at what they do, what they're missing is the part where we can take this information about food that rebuilds and repairs our body and help balance that out. And there's other things too, sleep, what our mind thinks. I mean, just like dwelling on the things of God and the good things, having our mind dwell on those positive things helps our body in so many ways that we just don't even begin to understand.
Yeah.
So it's a whole body approach. It's not just one thing.
Yeah. The science of neuroplasticity of our brain is amazing. And I love it because it goes back to Romans 12, 1 and 2 to not, to set our minds on, well, no, that's Colossians, but to be transformed by the renewing of our mind, right? In the Greek there, it talks about how that literally means to be continually transformed, which is interesting because your brain, I was actually listening to somebody, I think it was yesterday. I've been doing a lot of study on narcissism lately, a lot of deep study on the topic. My therapist background just is really fascinated by that topic and other personality disorders. Anyway, and just the person was talking about the neuroplasticity of the brain, and the simple rewiring of the brain. When somebody acts like a victim, how they think. And when you change it, it changes. You can literally change your brain. You can rewire your brain.
And I get up in the morning and I have a routine. I listen to, different clips. I have a devotional I listen to while I make the bed, and then I have a list of literally affirmations. I'm thankful that my body is healthy, and I set my tone for the day that I'm going to make healthful choices. And rather than say, I didn't sleep well, maybe I didn't sleep well, but I do sleep well, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
I try to find something that I'm going to do to move. And I'm in my mid 50s. I feel better now and really am healthier now than I was in my mid 30s or my 20s. because I'm eating whole, real foods. I have better, and digestion, if everybody's been touched by cancer, but if you have been, and I'm talking to whoever might be listening, focusing on gut health. So 70 to 80% of cancer is a failure of the immune system to identify and or kill cells that are doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And it's a failure of that system, but 70 to 80% of our immune system cells live in the general gut area, which means the stomach down, really in the large intestines where they are. There are other places too, Peyer's patches, bone marrow. There's other places that these cells are, but the vast majority of them are by the gut area. So think about this. When we bring food in our mouth, it immediately, one of the first places it goes is to that immune system cells where the vast majority of them are. We really want to take care of our gut, from the good digestion to good absorption to good microbiome. The studies on the microbiome and cancer is fascinating. You've been spending a lot of time studying narcissism. I've been spending a ton of time on gut bacteria and cancer and brain health and how it speaks to the different parts of the body through the vagal nerve. Fascinating. So yeah, just fascinating.
Well, and it's interesting because that actually, I can give you a testimony about the whole gut health thing because, I had a hysterectomy about almost 10 years ago. And just in terms of what happened to my body as far as that goes, as far as, how sensitive that area is, to different things. And I was getting a lot of UTIs afterwards, which they said, oh, you'll get UTIs. It'll become part of your life. It'll be completely common for you to get a UTI. And I was like, this sucks, man, because I'm doing nothing. I was doing way more like cleanliness stuff. I was doing everything that I could. And finally, a neighbor up the street in her 80s asked me one day, she said, do you take a probiotic by any chance? And I said, what's that? I have no idea what that is. And so she gave me one, and honestly, it's a $5 bottle, probably one of the cheapest probiotics out there you could probably get. Not even a refrigerated one, which is the ones I take now. But I started taking that, and literally within a month, it was gone, and I have not had one since. So I look at that, and I think, oh my gosh, and we can even talk about depression and anxiety and how all of that's tied in. The pharmaceutical companies have lied to everybody about the whole serotonin stuff and chemical imbalance and where all that stuff, it drives me nuts, just so you know. But I'll let you respond to that, and then we'll take a break for our sponsor.
So one of the things about probiotics, and I want to touch on, is we're seeing an increase in cancer in young people. Young adults they're literally younger and younger girls are being diagnosed with breast cancer. There's an epidemic of young adults being diagnosed with colon cancer and anal rectal cancer and cancers of the gut. And this is, if you look back now, it's just kind of a theory, but really, if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. So this is the first generation that has been raised with antibiotics at the, from the little, they have a little ear infection at 8 months old, let's put them on antibiotics, all the way through their teen years. The same generation has been raised on food sprayed with, not GMO foods, but food sprayed with pesticides and Roundup and glyphosate.
Right.
Both antibiotics and glyphosate damage the healthy gut bacteria. So if the healthy gut bacteria is damaged through antibiotics and glyphosate that they've had regularly, and not given then a probiotic and to repopulate that healthy gut bacteria, then their immune system is less than it should be. But again, this is an entire generation, and now we're seeing the results of raising these kids on antibiotics and food, processed food basically is food sprayed with all these things. It's not organic, it's not real, it's not nutrient dense. And so we're seeing, unfortunately, results of this generation is sicker than they've ever been. And, cancer is just one of many things. So I completely agree about the whole probiotic. It is so important. I personally use several different kinds from food based, from fermented foods to a spore based probiotic that is, and everything in between. So
yeah, one of the things I tried was kombucha or kombucha. Did I say it right? I was hesitant because I was like, ooh, this is like weird. But I tell you what, I actually should probably get back into drinking it, because when I drank it, I felt awesome.
Yep.
I was like, dang, this is like, and I avoid caffeine. I really do, for the most part, unless I eat it in chocolate, which I try to avoid, but I don't always succeed.
I was going to say, I don't know how you do that, but okay.
I can't avoid chocolate. I love it too much, but yeah. Anyways, we can talk about that in a minute. Let's take our break, because we're already at at the bottom of the hour. So those of you who, during the break, this is a good idea. You guys go over to Jody's website, which is healthkindness.com, and sign up for the free thing. What's the free thing again?
It's a check. It says checklist. You think a checklist is like a one sheet? No, I think it's like an ebook. It's like 30 pages of information. It has things from cancer recovery foods to gut health to sleep. A lot about foods, juicing, bone broth, kitchery, detoxification, all sorts of immune support, lots of just things to do to either protect yourself, or especially if you're in that cancer recovery mode and wanting to get back to as strong as you can. It's just a good place to start.
I'm going to download it after the show. I haven't even looked at it. Hey, you guys, like, totally, you should go download it. Go over to healthkindness.com. Or you can wait till after the show. But either way, go there. Jody has put a lot of work into putting this together. She knows what she's talking about. Hi, Jeremy. I saw you came in. Nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. It seems like, well, because you're usually on somebody else's scope, not mine, just so you know. You missed me, didn't you? Anyway, and Joel, hey, I see you in there too. And Diane, thank you for coming in as well. I think a couple other people here. That David is there. And that looks like a sex bot, and JD is there. Hi. I block sex bots, just so you know. And it's so obvious who you are, because you put these fake little kisses on your... Anyway, it's a bot. They don't care. Because they're not real people. They're like a robot. Anyway, I want to thank Ariel Ministries for sponsoring our show. You guys know this is the ministry of Dr. Arnold Fruchtenbaum. He founded this ministry over 40 years ago, and he has a free Bible study there on the website. You can download it on the resources page when you go to BibleNewsRadio.com. The Bible study is the present work of the Messiah, and just download it. You guys should let me know if you got it, so I know. Download it. It's free. You don't even have to put in an email to get it. And then the book, Life of the Messiah from a Messianic Jewish Perspective, is actually on volume 4. That's what we're highlighting this week. But you can go ahead and you can get all 4 volumes if you'd like, because why not? It's actually good stuff. That study's changed my walk with God. True story. Except I sat through like 50,000 hours of Arnold teaching on cassette tape. That's how long ago it was. And he has a very unique voice. Anyway, there's that, and then there's some other DVD sets you guys can look at, and all of that. So just check it out. We really appreciate it. Don't forget, though, when you buy something, use Bible News, save 20% on the books. Okay, it's good stuff. And you know what? If you want to get somebody a good gift for like your birthday, their birthday, or a holiday, or you can even make up a holiday, you can get them some stuff too. And they have MP3s that you can get, and other stuff too. So yeah, there you go. Also, if you want to be a pillar of the community, I am still doing that. So if you want to donate to our show because you like it and it's benefiting you somehow, then you can donate over at BibleNewsRadio.com. And thank you guys who do that. I appreciate it. The pillars, I am putting up yeah, let me just be honest. Most of the pillars don't give because they want me to give them something extra every month. It's just me to want to give you something extra every month. So we will be doing that in email, and you'll be getting that when you donate. I will be doing that starting next month in July, which is right around the corner, just so you know. Also, what else was I going to tell you?
Things on our sponsors page?
Things on our sponsors page. Oh yeah, Legal Shield and ID Shield. How can I forget? I've been talking about Legal Shield for a long time. Hey, you guys should join Legal Shield. You just should. I'm serious. You should really look into it because it will really help you out, especially if you're in business or if you are a litigious person in general. I'm going to say, you want to threaten somebody? No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. No, actually, there's a lot of really good stuff there. If you need a will, some other stuff, you need some legal advice, this is really a good service. It's very affordable. That's the whole reason it exists, so you can learn more by contacting that. And ID Shield, you should definitely get to protect your identity. In fact, I signed up somebody today, and there was something on theirs that they were like, I didn't know that was there. And I'm like, neither did I. Congratulations. Now you know. It's nuts, you guys, and I'll talk more about that later. But if you go ahead and you want info, go to my website, go to our website there on Bible News Radio, click through, you can watch videos, but do me a favor, put in your info, just contact me and I'll contact you and I'll talk to you because it's way easier for me to tell you about it than going through the website there. All right. Is that it? Oh, and Spark Naturals essential oil, that's there too if you want to get that. I'm a believer in essential oil because it works for me, especially for allergies. Here in Tennessee, if it wasn't for LLP, I would probably be dead. No, that's an exaggeration, but it's definitely helped me a lot. Are you bots here? Go bot. Okay, okay, yeah. AKA bother someone else. Yeah, very funny, Jeremy. That's funny. That was funny. You're pretty funny. Anyway, okay, so our guest today is Jody Summers. She is her website is healthkindness.com. And you can see how kind she is as a person in general and how knowledgeable. And she's here to talk to us about ways to not be affected by cancer as much as if you didn't do anything. And she's got tons of resources on her website. You should go check that out and come back on the screen. And I know, Randall keeps telling me, look at it's my downfall. I have to put a picture by that camera. That way I never look away. But anyway, okay, so welcome back, Jody. That was you. This is how two people run a show. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay, so what else would you like to tell us?
I thought you were the one asking the question.
I know. I actually forgot what I was going to ask you. But
that was a question.
With an open mic. So, there's I think the one thing that is really underestimated in this, whatever, I don't know what word you want to use, but underutilized is the importance of sleep and rest.
Yeah.
That's when our body heals itself. And so if you've had children or you've ever seen children, it seems like they grow overnight. They grew overnight. That's when they grow. Because the body is in rest and repair and regeneration. And so, if you aren't feeling well, there's a reason you're tired. And there's a reason that you don't want to eat. And that's because digestion takes a lot of energy, but so does healing. And so one of the things that from that download, I'm not trying to really promote that download, but on the downloadable, if you go to my website, there are 3 different types of, especially for people in cancer recovery. So if they're having chemotherapy or they've just, had surgery, for example, you need to have lots of nutrients. But generally one of the mainstream things is, here, take Ensure or Boost or whatever, which is, I personally think it's one of the worst things that anybody can have. It's just completely, it just absolutely does the body. It doesn't serve, it provides calories like we talked about earlier, but no real nutrients. So there's 3 options on there. Juicing is one. So juicing vegetables, greens and celery, beets for liver support. You don't want to overdo it because that can be high in sugar. But if you are going through a lot of, cancer is toxic, cancer treatment is toxic, breaking up of cancer cells is toxic, and it all goes through the liver. So you want to make sure you're having good liver support and foods that are easily absorbable. Another one would be bone broth from organic bones. And I actually even tell you how to make it on that download. So from an Instapot, there's a recipe. And then again, that was something that I oftentimes will have my clients do a little combination of both if they don't feel up to eating, let's say in place of an Ensure, or in addition to whatever their doctor is telling them to do. And there's other alternatives from some of the, there's better, higher quality products if you want to connect with me if you have that specific question. And then the last thing that's on there is a recipe for khichdi, which is an ancient grain digestive. It's from India. And so like when we get sick in the United States, our grandma used to make us chicken soup, but this is kind of an ancient grain chicken soup from, years and years ago. And one of the spices in there is turmeric. So you'll like that, Stacey Lynn. And again, just very good. So there's some of those things on there that might be helpful. I try to incorporate those things in not every day. I don't have bone broth every day. I don't have juice every day, but I just try to incorporate them during the week. They're good for everybody. So anyway.
You know what? I really need to do that too. Actually, I really need to do that. I've been told this numerous times and I really do. What do you recommend for, like me? Okay. I'm an athlete. I know I look like it, don't I? Yeah, I do. Well, I'm not trying to be funny, but I do play pickleball 5 days a week. I'm going to play tonight right after our show. I work my whole body. I mean, I sweat like crazy, and Gatorade is not for me, because Gatorade, even though my medical doctor told me go get Gatorade and do that because of that. What do you recommend for like when your blood sugar drops and and replenishing that? I know I have some other friends. You and I both have similar friends who have recipes, but what do you recommend?
So when I exercise, and I exercise every day as well, I'm really big into sweating. Sweating is really good for, again, detoxification. So for you, for somebody who's exercising, and especially in the summer heat, you're going to want to keep hydrated. Being dehydrated can actually change blood sugar. There's multiple issues that can come up with dehydration. So hydration outside of Gatorade or some of those other ones, anything that is high in minerals. And again, on that download, I have what I use on there. Okay. But one of the things that you want to make sure you're getting is minerals, let's say, versus vitamins. And it's just like the electrolytes that are in some of those drinks, but you want to make sure that you're getting it in a really non-sugary form that's going to spike that blood sugar as well. So there are, since we're talking about this, there are 90 essential nutrients. There are 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 3 essential fatty acids. And really, again, going back to the car example, our body's like a car. And if any of those are not filled up or run low, and something's going to not work right. And so I find that when all of my little nutrient tanks are full, I feel so much better. So just make sure you're drinking plenty, especially in the summer heat. That even something like pink Himalayan sea salt, if you want to add a little bit to your water, if you're out, that's another good, it has a lot of trace minerals in there, or a mineral supplementation, and having plenty, not over drinking to where you're, making yourself sick, but making sure that you're using the restroom often in this heat, even when you're exercising, because it's all so good to get some of those toxins out.
Yeah, you know what? That actually makes sense. For me, putting the salt in my water, it just didn't work. But what did work is I have a little bag, a baggie, and I put my pink sea salt in that, and I go like that, and then I drink my water. And it works just as good. In fact, I actually like the taste of salt. I'm not a salt addict by any stretch, but that actually did this. Yeah, Jeremy says Gatorade brings up your energy, but you don't want to go bouncing off the wall. For me, the issue with Gatorade is it completely stuffs me up. There's something in the dye that congests me instantly, just like that. So it's like...
There's so many better options on the market. they're just good at marketing. They're, again, one of the food companies, which really food companies have stolen away what we know from, again, mainstream. My degrees in dietetics. I'm not a registered dietitian, but I have every training to get that certification, which I'm not going to now, because I would be bound by the regulatory government rules to say, for example, that Gatorade is good or Ensure is the best choice. Like there's so many other options that are better. And yeah.
What do you recommend for a snack? Like something because I'll tell you what, I exercise with yesterday, there was probably 60 people at pickleball. There was that many people there in the morning. And, I look at what everybody eats and stuff, and like people eat like crackers, peanut butter crackers. Some people eat gummy bears. I mean, people bring all this stuff. Sometimes people bring in Oreo crushed balls, the Oreos that they're so good, right? I mean, but, everybody is, or most of us are health conscious, but, what do you recommend for action?
Who's going to be exercising like that every day? And yet you see people eating Oreos and gummy bears and those kinds of things. That would not be on the list.
I love Oreos. Yeah, I do. But I can't eat them because they don't make me feel good.
Well, I was just going to say, but even things like if you are hungry when you're there, things like, cashews or almonds or, and again, everybody is bio-individual. So some people can't eat as many of those as, let's say, something else, but something that's high in healthy fat and a good protein, rather than something that's high in a processed carbohydrate, which is the 90% of the snacks on the market are high in processed carbs. And what you really want to do, which is a whole different conversation, is maintain the level of blood sugar so it's not spiking and dropping, and that's what those carbs do. But getting a good protein with a healthy fat, those are the best snacks for especially kind of long-term energy.
Have you heard of the F-bombs? Have you? No?
I've never had one. I've never made it. But I'm familiar with.
No, there's actually a brand called F-bomb.
Oh, but you can make similar type products at home too.
Yeah, okay, because that's like your nut butter and all that. Yeah, I actually they did one with macadamia nut and there's just something about it that I didn't like it. But Joel says almonds yum. See, I'm not a big fan of almonds. That's my problem. Is I'm not a big, huge, super fan of almonds. I just don't.
Walnuts?
They don't. What'd you say?
Walnuts for the brain, very, very health. Walnuts are really great for brain health.
Yeah, I really like cashews, but I know that they're higher in carbs and sugar.
But they're better than gummy bears.
Yeah, I don't eat those gummy bears. What about Joel said blueberries?
Oh, absolutely. One of my favorite things, I actually, I do a lot of things. Okay. And one of the things, I'm a mentor for a group of people who, we were talking about, it doesn't matter what I do. Anyway, one of the things I was doing is writing something today about our favorite food. The question today was, what's your favorite meal? And one of mine is, different types of lettuces with broccoli, rice, mushrooms, which are really good in cancer protection. Red onions, again, really good in cancer protection. Raw sunflower seeds. And then on the top of that, I mix in a little goat cheese, dress it with a balsamic vinegar. I just generally don't put any oil. It's a light pear balsamic vinegar, and then put blueberries on the top. Ooh. Oh my gosh, so delicious, so delicious. So you know what? I can actually write that recipe for you if you want.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Actually, one of the things that I found for myself, actually, that I just got into was sunflower seeds, because I have a problem digesting nuts. That's my problem. But sunflower seeds, no problem whatsoever, because they're little, right? And if you chew them, there's not much there to chew. But there's a lot of good fat in them. There's a lot of fiber in them. They taste good, and I can eat a couple of tablespoons of them, and I'm good.
Right. You don't want to eat too many, especially if you have any gut issues at all. One of the topics that might be good later on is, as we age, anybody over 50, our digestion tends to, almost everybody over 50 has less strong digestion than we did when we were 20. And it's one of the reasons why so many older people get sick and get like food poisoning so much easier, because their digestion isn't as strong. So one of the things is that when you're saying you don't digest your nuts so well, is there's different ways that you can improve your digestion from using the parasympathetic system, which is rest and digest. A digestive enzyme. There's lots of different ways. We talked about water. Never drink carbonated water, because I sometimes drink carbonated water between meals, but like never drink a carbonated beverage with a meal. It actually stops the production of stomach acid, which helps break down the food, which then you gather up the nutrients. So even as you age, if you're drinking a lot of water, or especially a carbonated beverage with a meal, you're actually preventing nutrients from being absorbed, as that digestion is a north to south process. And as it goes down southward, that's where the absorption is. And some of that can be stopped. So maybe you could eat nuts if you kind of had a plan for better digestion. And I'm not saying you in particular, but I'm just saying in general, it's surprising how much we can eat when we do it when we're aware of how that works.
The right way. Yeah. Well, that's good to know. All right. Well, it looks like Randall's saying, hey, wrap this up. Wrap this up, people.
You couldn't stop now. You can't stop me.
I know. Wait, hold on. I think there was some questions. Jeremy said, okay, so some people said Brazil nuts too. They're not acidic.
Oh, absolutely. Selenium and Brazil nuts for cancer.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And blueberries are F-bomb amazing. Yeah. Yeah, actually, you know what I tried first? I don't even know where I was where I tried this. Where was it? Oh, that's where it was. Okay, yeah. I went out to lunch after pickleball. We went to this pizza place, right? So I went there, and I didn't want any bread or pizza, because that's pretty much all they sold at this pizza place. I looked on the menu, and they offered a fruit bowl, okay, with some stuff on it. Anyway, so I ordered this little fruit bowl. It was delicious, first of all. But what was in it that I had never eaten before was a blackberry. And that blackberry rocked. Oh my gosh, that was like I'm almost 50 and I've never had a blackberry.
You're going to have to come to my house. Blackberries grow, I live out in the boondocks, okay? But blackberries grow wild, and we have to cut them and throw them away because they overtake the streets.
Yeah, well, I loved it. It was awesome. Anyway, all right, so now we got 2 minutes. Randall's saying, so go ahead and wrap this up. Tell us again what you want people to get and all that stuff.
If you're interested, if you go to healthkindness.com, there is some information there. I work a lot with one-on-one clients, but I am working on some online programs. So if you do want to put your name in there, you'll get updated when those are finished. But what you can get right now is a download. It's like 30 pages, and there's recipes, and there's tips on digestion and sleep and all sorts of things in that download. So you're welcome to go get that for free.
Yeah, Melanie said that she got it. She also followed you on your Facebook page, so you have a place people can follow you there on the internet.
Every Friday when I'm home, when I'm not traveling, I do a 10-minute, I try to keep it about 10, 12 minutes, Facebook Live on some random, it's not always about, every week it's different. So last week was depression. This week it's going to be on healthy travel, what to take with you when you travel and how to stay healthy on the road. So I try to do that. I am more active on Facebook than I am on any of the others. So.
All right, great. All right, everybody. Hey, Jody, thank you for being my guest. Don't go anywhere. You rocked it as always. I knew you were gonna. And everybody else, tomorrow we're gonna look at some headlines of the day. We'll fill you in on some new stuff, and yeah, we will. And anyway, I hope you guys get this. This was awesome stuff. You know, most shows get this great of stuff. So go get it. All right. And also be bold, stand up and go with God because he loves you. And if you want any of the things we talked about, go to BibleNewsRadio.com, sign up for our email, and look on our resources page and our sponsors page. I forgot, but anyway. Look there, people, and we'll see you tomorrow.